Let's play a game. Think about your day. That extra 5 minutes you hit snooze. The coffee shop you chose instead of your usual. That text you almost sent. Tiny choices, right? Now, what if I told you that history, the big, heavy textbook history, it's made of those moments. The wrong turns, the messy desks, the storms that showed up at just the right time, or the terribly wrong one. Today, we're not talking about kings and generals. We're talking about the rest of us, the drivers, the scientists having a bad week, the guys who just wanted to go home. This is the countdown of 5 times a tiny human-sized moment cracked the world in half and reshaped it forever. Before we step into today's story, if you're into moments that change everything, subscribe and hit that bell. It's how you'll know when we drop the next untold peak moment in history. And if you're already part of the crew, thank you. Leaving a like is how I know which stories resonate with you most. All right, let's rewind time. Number 5, the doctor who hated a messy desk. It's September 1928. A bacteriologist named Alexander Fleming comes back to his lab at St. Mary's Hospital in London after a holiday, and he's mildly annoyed. His lab is a mess. Petri dishes are stacked up in a corner, all crusty with old bacteria he'd been growing. Now, Fleming was a brilliant researcher, but let's be real, he was also that guy who let the dishes pile up. He starts cleaning, about to dunk these failures in disinfectant, when one dish gives him pause. There's a blob of blue-green mold, but around it, the deadly yellow Staphylococcus bacteria. It's gone, not covered up, eradicated, a perfect clear circle of nothing. Most of us would see a contaminated experiment, a failure. Fleming, in his messy, brilliant way, saw a question. He didn't shout. He probably just raised an eyebrow and muttered, that's odd. That odd thing was penicillin, the world's first true antibiotic. But here's the kicker. The miracle wasn't the mold. The miracle was the vacation. If Fleming had been his own tidy boss, if he'd cleaned his plates every day like a good scientist, the mold never would have had the week it needed to grow. His human flaw, a little procrastination, a messy workspace, created the perfect conditions to save an estimated 200 million lives. So next time someone nags you about cleaning your desk, you tell them you're waiting for a world-changing discovery. It's only polite. Number 4, the spy who needed a good cover story. Winter 1917. World War I is a meat grinder in the mud of France. Germany is desperate, so they send a secret telegram to Mexico. The offer? Join us against America, and we'll help you get Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona back. It's an insane, desperate move, and British intelligence in a place called Room 40 intercepts it. They've just won the intelligence lottery, but they have a very human problem. How do you tell your friend you read their enemy's diary without admitting you broke into their house? If they just say, "We decoded your secret talk," Germany would just change the code. Their golden source would go dark. So they pull off a move so clever it belongs in a spy movie. They get a second copy of the telegram from a contact in Mexico City. Now they can pretend that's how they got it. They hand this political grenade to the Americans. President Woodrow Wilson, a man trying desperately to keep the peace, reads it. The public reads it. The outrage is instant and white hot. That tiny, brilliant decision, how to reveal the secret, was the butterfly's wing. It turned a dry piece of intelligence into a national insult. By April, America was in the war. Its fresh troops and spirit broke the stalemate. The 20th century's entire fate was rerouted because a few spies in a London basement needed a good alibi. Number 3, the storms that felt like divine intervention. Imagine being a samurai on the coast of Japan in 1281. You've been fighting for your life for weeks. On the horizon is the largest invasion fleet the world had ever seen. Over 4,000 Mongol ships, a floating city of 140,000 soldiers. You are hopelessly outnumbered. You're praying for a miracle. And then, the sky answers. Not once, but twice, in 1274 and again in 1281. Typhoons of unbelievable ferocity smashed the Mongol fleets to splinters. The Japanese called it kamikaze, divine wind. For them, the islands themselves were protected. But the butterfly here wasn't divine, it was meteorological. A perfectly normal Pacific weather pattern hitting at the perfectly wrong moment for Kublai Khan. The effect? Japan's culture of fierce isolation was born. No Mongol rule, no outside influence for centuries. That sealed-off, unified warrior society would later reemerge as a modern empire that changed the world again in the 1940s. The destiny of a nation decided not by a sword, but by a season. Number 2, the paper that shrank an ocean early 1400s. China is the undisputed superpower. Its treasure fleet makes everyone else's ships look like bath toys. Admiral Zheng, he is sailing to Africa, to Arabia, bringing back giraffes for the emperor. China owns the ocean. Then, a new emperor takes the throne. He looks at the books, he listens to the scholars who hate the powerful eunuch admirals, and he makes a very human, bureaucratic decision. It's too expensive. It's a vanity project. He issues an order, the hygiene decree. Stop the voyages. Burn the ship blueprints. Forget the ocean. Focus on the land borders. Just like that, the greatest navy in the world is dismantled. The butterfly's wing was a signature on a piece of paper, a decision to look inward. The effect? It left the oceans empty, a power vacuum. And into that vacuum sailed the Portuguese, the Spanish, the British, with their smaller, hungrier ships. They drew the map of the colonial world, of the Atlantic slave trade, of the global economy we live with today. Because one man in a palace decided to cut funding for the biggest project on Earth. Number 1, the driver who wasn't told. And here it is, the one. The moment so perfectly small, so cosmically huge, it hurts to think about. Sarajevo, June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand's car is driving through town. There's been an assassination attempt already that morning, a grenade that missed. The Archduke is furious, but alive. He decides to go visit the wounded officers in the hospital. But in the chaos, no one tells the driver, Leopold Loika, about the change of plans. So Loika takes the planned route. The Archduke's aide yells, "Wrong way!" Loika slams the brakes. He tries to reverse. In his panic, he stalls the engine. The car dies, right in front of a small cafe. Sitting at that cafe, miserable after botching the morning's attack, is a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip. He looks up. The heir to an empire is sitting, a perfect target, 5 feet away. 1 month later, the dominoes begin to fall. Alliances trigger like a machine gun. Within weeks, the world is at war. 16 million will die. The old world ends. The traumatic, violent 20th century begins. Communism, fascism, World War II, the Cold War, all of it blooms from that single, stupid human error. A driver who didn't get the memo, a wrong turn, a stalled car, and the world shattered. That's the terrifying, beautiful truth of history. It's not just forces and empires, it's us. Our bad days, our missed messages, our messy desks. It's fragile. All of this is so fragile. So what does that mean for us right now? Maybe just this. Pay attention to your small choices. Be kind. Double-check your directions. And let your desk be a little messy. You never know what might be growing there. If you have a tiny moment you think changed your world, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And if you want more stories about the fragile moments that made us, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.